This time on the Families Matter Most podcast.
In your parenting, in your partnership, in your relationships, when have you added emotion to things that weren't necessary and you took it from a problem to solve and made it into an emotional crisis? What did your brain make it mean? And what did your brain make it mean about you?
Every time Jen Dean speaks, I can see hope, knowledge, expertise, wisdom, and love.
When Jen Dean speaks about parenting, we make sure that we are there to listen because we know we will get valuable advice.
Families Matter Most with Jen Dean.
She doesn't just give skills for us to be better parents, but she teaches us how to reach our children's hearts. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters.
It's Jen with Families Matter Most, and we are back with another podcast. This one is going to help you to stop overreacting. Stop it. In this podcast, I'm going to give you 3 tips that are going to help you. And this kind of becomes a practice that can help you stop getting super emotional, stop overreacting. And you know you do this. You can work on it. You can get better. Let's get into it. I'm a family coach. I help parents just like you take care of themselves to take care of your kids. We talk about parenting strategies and tools, but I also give you tools to take care of you because you know when you're stressed, life doesn't go well. It doesn't go well for you or the kids. So let's talk about overreacting today. How often do you do it? Do you feel like it happens a lot for you? Probably you're going to say, Jen, it happens more than I would like. And okay, I can get behind that for sure. Let's reduce that in your life starting today. Starting right now, you can reduce the number of times you overreact. Also, you can reduce the intensity with which you overreact. So this is what's going on. Something happens in your life, and obviously you don't like it, but it doesn't just become about that one thing. You add emotion to it. So the first part is when we overreact, we always add more emotion. And that's why we look back on something and we say, you know what? I shouldn't have been that angry. Why was I so upset over this thing? Maybe it was a little thing, but you would say, you know what? I made it way bigger than I needed to. Of course, the definition of overreacting. I added more anger, more fuel. I was way more upset about it, way more hurt or sad than I should have been. It was a smaller thing and I made it bigger. That's what we do. We add emotion to it. And I don't want you to forget that. You could say, yeah, I was tired. You can say I had a headache. I had a bad day. But you chose, in that moment, you chose to add the emotion to it. You chose that. And you need to own that. It sucks sometimes, this parenting thing. You need to own it. When you make a mistake, you need to own it. And it can be also true that, yeah, I didn't get sleep last night. Yeah, I had a bad day. We got some bad news, or it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I get all of those things. They may be true, but also true, you chose to make that a bigger deal. It's really important that we take ownership. And that's something we want our kids to do when they make a mistake. But it's also freeing because by you taking ownership of it, that means you also can work on the problem. You can do the work. You can change it. You can get better. You can improve. When you don't take ownership, it feels like life is just happening to you. So I want you to know that you have choices here. You have power, but you need to take responsibility for you. I know that hurts to hear. It hurts me when I say it to myself. I know. You chose to add the emotion. You need to own it. So I want you to think about that. I'll give you a recent example. My husband, Sean, and I, he said to me one day, I was taking clients in the evening, working at night. And he said to me, hey, honey, let's go out to a restaurant when you're done. And I said, okay, great. I'll be done at 8:30. He said, perfect. Let's go out at 8:30. And it was a romantic surprise. I was so excited. So I hurried after my client to wrap up any admin, to get that all done because I was really looking forward to, and I was excited that my husband, my best friend, is going to take me on a date. It's a surprise. I can't wait. So I hurried to get finished. He did not. He did not hurry. And I'm seeing myself scurrying around, getting ready, excited, and he just seems like, taking my time. I'm relaxed. I'm still over here doing this thing. And I got really upset about it. I added emotion to it. Now let's take it to the circumstance. The circumstance was that I was really excited and hurrying to get ready. And it was his idea. He was excited, but he didn't look excited. I chose to completely overreact. I lost it. I lost it on Sean. And I started saying, if you don't want to come with me, then why did you even say that? Like, clearly you don't want to come. So here I am, excited and hurrying and trying to make the best of it and have this romantic date, and you don't even want to be there. You don't even want to be on a date with me. So I want you to notice what I did there. I added emotion. Okay, that's step one. When we do that, it feels like a crisis. It feels like an attack. It feels like we have to defend. The other thing we do, when we add emotion, our brain feels that stress. Remember, our brains only get information from our senses, right? Our brains don't have eyeballs. Our brains can't look around and make it an assumption. All our brain gets is the feedback. All our brain gets is what we give it. So my response, all my brain got was my emotion and my thoughts. I was upset. I was angry. And my thoughts of, he doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to go on a date with me. I don't know why he said that. Maybe he just felt guilty. Maybe he felt sorry for me. Why would he say that if he doesn't want to come? That's how I felt. My brain only has that information. So it decides, based on that information, my brain decides that Sean doesn't really care about me. Now, do you see what happened here? We took a circumstance that Sean intended to be good and positive and romantic and fun, and I somehow made it mean that Sean doesn't care about me. Now, I know you're thinking, Jen, how did that even happen? That makes no sense. But that's what our brain does. Our brain tries to make things mean something. And my brain made it mean that Sean doesn't really care about me. He doesn't really care. He's selfish. Does he even really love me? Now I'm laughing because I know now how ridiculous all of this is. But in the moment, I swear, it felt very true. Your brain makes it mean something. That's something you can ask yourself. Whenever you overreact, whenever you add emotion to something, your brain is making it mean something. And the third thing that I want you to consider is your brain always makes it mean something about you. Your brain makes it personal. That's what it will do. So my brain, I added the emotion. I added the anger, the hurt. Really, let's be honest. I wasn't angry, I was hurt. It showed up as anger, but underneath the anger, I was hurt. My brain made it mean that Sean didn't care about it, that he probably never really wanted to do it in the first place because he doesn't care about me, because he probably doesn't even love me or want to be around me. I made it mean something about me. Notice that? It started off being angry at him, but where my brain made it mean in the end, it landed on he doesn't care about me. So it started off with Sean's so selfish, but it ended with he doesn't care about me. And that's what hurts, is we always make it mean something about us, which we could talk about how interesting it is that we're all kind of selfish, actually. But even in parenting, I want you to think about the last time you got really angry that you say you overreacted with your kids. Maybe you're trying to get out the door. I'm thinking of one of my clients who has a really hard time getting her kids out the door. It's a struggle. They don't want to eat breakfast. They don't want to get dressed. They don't want to brush their teeth. They don't want to do any of these things. And she gets hurt. She gets frustrated. Her brain makes it mean more than, hey, my kids are having a really hard time with the morning routine. This is a problem to solve. Oh, no. Her brain doesn't think that. Her brain thinks, this is never going to work. My kids don't care about me. I'm a bad mom. They don't know what to do. I'm failing them. I'll never get it right. Notice, right? It's not a problem to solve anymore. Now it's like a crisis. And where it ends up landing, because we always make it mean something about us, Where it ends up landing is, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a failure. Nobody cares about me. It's never going to get better. I'm a bad mom. And that's common. That's really common with the parents that I work with. So I'm willing to bet that you have experienced exactly this scenario or something very, very similar. And you've added that emotion, some frustration for sure. Absolutely, I would be frustrated. But your brain took it from, this is a really hard time of day and I want to work on this and find some solutions and solve this problem. Your brain didn't go there. No. Your brain took it to, they don't care about me. Nobody listens to me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a failure. I'm a bad mom. It's never going to change. I don't know what to do, right? It's really hard to work with that. How do we solve that problem? I'm a bad mom. That's a problem to solve. It would be much easier if we could get out of crisis mode, existential, I'm a failure at life mode, and go back to, this is a problem to solve. Let's just solve, this is what's not working. Let's solve this problem. That would be so much easier, but our brains are not helpful in this way. So when you're in it, when you're doing life and you're frustrated, I want you to notice when you're starting to lose your patience, just to notice it and think, you know what? I'm not at my best right now. So I need to be careful because my brain is taking in a lot of information about how hard this is, about how tired I am, that I'm counting down the hours till bedtime, that my kids are not listening very well at this moment, that parenting is really hard right now. What we're doing isn't working. This is a problem we need to work on. Right now, your brain is taking that in, but it only gets what you tell it. And as soon as you add in that extra emotion, that anger, the hurt, the fear of, I don't know how to control this situation. I don't know what to do. As soon as our brain starts taking that in, then it goes into high alert and it just wants to fix it, to make it go away, make it stop. And we go into we get into all of that. We make it mean more than it means. We decide, well, we must be a failure then. We must be horrible. So what you can do in those situations is just notice when it's coming. And when you find yourself adding that extra emotion, stop and just notice it. Hey, I'm adding a lot of hurt and anger here. What is my brain making it mean? This has been super powerful for me. So to my example with my husband and I, we're going to the restaurant and I'm mad and we're fighting. And my husband, of course, he has his own brain that's making things mean something. Now, let's just say to him, this would seem really unfair because it was his idea. Sean wanted to do a nice thing and be romantic, and he just didn't know that we were in such a hurry to get there. So he was just taking his time and being relaxed about it and having fun. And I decided it meant something. It didn't mean any of that. And in fact, then I'm accusing him of not caring about me when in fact it was his idea to do this nice thing for me. I understand it would have been super confusing and frustrating for Sean. That was my fault. That was my fault. I did that. And when I could stop and say, okay, I'm overreacting. You know what? My brain made it mean that you didn't care about me because I didn't see you excited or hurrying. It didn't seem that you were interested in getting moving. And so my brain made it mean that you didn't really want to go and you didn't care about it. And I decided that you didn't care about me. And then he could stop and say, no, I just didn't want to rush. I wanted to be relaxed. So I just, wasn't in a hurry. And then we could move forward. But man, that was a wicked fight, let me tell you. And it was all my fault. And I owned it. And I had to apologize. I had to apologize for that. So I want you to think about that. In your parenting, in your partnership, in your relationships, when have you added emotion to things that weren't necessary? And you took it from a problem to solve and made it into an emotional crisis. What did your brain make it mean? Yeah. And what did your brain make it mean about you? Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Implement this and you will see a reduction in overreacting, you will see a reduction in the frequency, you will see a reduction in the intensity, and you will see a reduction in what I call the recovery time, the amount of time it takes for you to process it and kind of move it out of your body, of your head. As soon as you can see, oh, that was my brain trying to help me out because I was giving it all kinds of emotions and stress and anger and fear and hurt. That was my brain. Silly brain. That was just my brain doing that. Okay, I need to own what's mine to own. I need to repair, make amends, make it right, and then I can let it go. No wonder my brain did that. All it got was my stress and fear, my anxiety, of course, my anger. Of course it would assume that. So that's the first step. There's so much more. If this is helpful for you, I want you to consider the Stronger Family Program. It's a small group coaching program, and it is really combining the best of one-on-one coaching, but also the accountability. So my clients, I'm biased, but they love the coaching aspect. They love that they can talk about specific issues. It's so much better than reading it in a book. We can talk about what's going on in your life with your kids and your marriage, and we can implement things that will make a difference. Plus, you get the accountability. I'm going to be following up. How's it going? What's working? What's not working? We can troubleshoot in real time what's going on in your life, whether it's to do with your kids, your family, balancing a busy schedule, stress, your own health, dealing with, your own health and work-life balance. I can help you with all of those things. And that really is the best of the coaching world. But now we're adding in, with the Stronger Family Program, we're adding in some regular accountability. So we're going to meet on Sundays. There's some strategies that I teach and encourage families to do once a week. And I suggest Sundays. Sundays are a good day to do this. And I've worked with so many families who've said, you know what, I would love to, and I mean to do it, but life just happens and it always gets pushed aside and I always end up leaving it and I'll start next week and it's just not happening. So by implementing the Sunday night check-in, that's going to be a great way that I can help you be accountable for the week ahead. Are you ready for the week ahead? Have you done the things that we've talked about? How do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel like, okay, you're ready? What about scheduling? Are you set up for success? Can I help to reduce the stress in your own life? Can I help to reduce the stress in your home, setting you up for the week ahead? Then Tuesdays is coaching day. That's what we're going to talk about. Your own health, your own stuff, some of these kinds of things, overreacting, dealing with our own emotions, also parenting stuff, real practical things. You have a 3-year-old that's throwing temper tantrums, or you have a 10-year-old that's being sassy and talking back. I get all of that, and I can give you practical tools to work on those things. And then Friday, we're going to do the Friday finisher. How did the week go? What can we do to improve it for next time? So I feel like this is a really good blend of the coaching and also the accountabilities and the cheerleader. So this is the Stronger Family Program. I hope you check it out. Make sure you click the link here in this podcast, or you go to familiesmattermost.com and get all the information, because I really think this would have been a total game changer for me when I had younger kids, because part of it is knowing what to do, and I can help you with that. Another part of it is troubleshooting specific customized strategies, and I can help with that. And now this extra piece we're adding on is just that support, that encouragement, that regular check-in of how you're doing. That I think would have been so helpful for me. So I'm really excited to offer it, and I hope that you check it out. Thanks so much for joining me on this podcast. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the Families Matter Most podcast with Jen Dean, part of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. If you are interested in contacting Jen for one-on-one parent coaching, for speaking engagements, or just to get a little more information, please visit our website, familiesmattermost.com.